this minisode isn't just about me and my journey, it's about every child who learned silence before safety. Namaste. You're listening to a catalyst for your moments of mindfulness today. Hello. Welcome back to my podcast and my channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Kaylin, and in every segment, I love to share relatable storytelling and end with a brief guided meditation to guide us all back home. So I hope that you'll stick around to the end. This segment is a continuation of season 4 on my podcast, and I kind of wanted to fill in the blanks between the last segment that I did and this one. In my last minisode, episode number 141, love that we are getting so high on our numbers, I shared about my childhood practice of journaling, and I showed you my 2 early childhood journals. What I didn't mention to you was the difference between these 2 journals and why creating emotional safety for children is so important. So let's get into it. My very first journal that I started back in 2003, I mentioned that my journal entries were very transactional, meaning that they started off by being a recount of my day, step by step, what I was doing. And it wasn't until much later on, specifically when I started my second journal as a teenager at the age of 13, that I started being more descriptive in my writing. So as much as I say journaling is a powerful practice, what changes the game and changes your journaling practice is creating emotional safety, is feeling safe to fully express yourself. So let me explain what I mean. When I was gifted this journal, my parents were going through a divorce, and I struggled to put my big feelings into words. And I really found challenges throughout my childhood in feeling safe to express myself. That was because I wasn't always given the opportunity to, and I wasn't really encouraged, or I didn't know how. Growing up, I didn't see adults around me be vulnerable with each other or sit and talk about their feelings. Being an eldest daughter of immigrant parents, I'm sure you may understand, and it's just not in our culture. And so it also didn't help my case that I was also an only child. So I carried not only the weight of my own emotions, but that of my parents as well. Specifically my mom, because when my parents separated, I went ahead and I lived with my mom. And when you see one of or both of your parents in a very vulnerable state, as the eldest child, it is likely that we take on a lot of the responsibilities and carry their emotions as our own too. So I grew up not feeling very safe to express my own, or not even knowing what my emotions were. And of course, my mom did her very best to create safety for me, to nurture me, to love me, to support me. However, these little nuances that may come up day to day become bigger habits, which create a feeling of feeling unsafe within my own self. So when I turned to journaling my day, my feelings, I didn't know how to tap into my feelings. And there was also a great fear that if I was very vulnerable in my writing, somebody would find my journals and I would be punished for feeling the way that I felt. I'm gonna let that one simmer for a bit, because that is a very big emotion for a young child to feel. So it led me to not being truthful in my writing, or sort of writing in a performative way, as if someone was going to read my journal, as if I was being ungrateful if I expressed anything other than happy emotions. Because at that time, I looked up at my parents and thought, wow, they are carrying a lot. Let me be the good daughter. Let me be the obedient daughter. Let me not lash out, quote unquote, or have these really big emotions that I have to burden my parents with. And so in reflecting on the last minisode that I shared, and further reflecting on my own life, childhood, and journal entries, I realized just how important creating emotional safety is for our children. Because it's not something that is just given or a gift, it's something that is cultivated, not only within a child, but so much is due to the environment that they are raised and participate in as well. Now, this all changed for me when there was a journal entry that I wrote at the age of 13 in this big girl book of mine. And I remember writing at the end of a long rant, "This is between me and God. Only me and God know." And that was the first time ever in my writing that I felt seen, that I felt safe, that I felt like all of me was welcome, all of my emotions are valid, and I am being seen. I literally have goosebumps and chills telling you this right now because it was such a big moment for me to feel safe in my body, in my own mind, in my life as a child. It was in this moment that my journal became a mirror. It was in this moment where it became a safe space because I was able to trust in myself, trust in my writing, trust in this beautiful pink book that I was seen, that all of me is welcome here. So like I said, cultivating emotional safety isn't just a given, it's something that's built also through trial and error. And as a young girl, I had to build that within myself. So this minisode is a call to anyone parenting, leading, or working with children. Create that room, create that space, that silence, so that the little voices around you can rise, so that you can hear their cries, so that you can hear their resilience, so that they can grow up knowing that they are safe, they are seen, they are heard, and they are loved for exactly who they are. No emotion is too big, too complicated, too dramatic, too much of anything, because everything is valid. And what we suppress as children, or what is left unexpressed as children, manifests and amplifies as we grow older into adults, because this is how layers of conditioning are brought upon us. I often think that if little Kaylin had a big Kaylin in her life, she would know that change is possible, that healing is possible, and that big life that she dreamt of is so possible. And so that's why I'm so passionate about inner child healing today, because truthfully, like I said in my last minisode, my inner child is my compass. Everything is an ode and an honor of her, because her feelings were real, her dreams were real, and it is so possible to manifest them today. Even the most silenced kids become beautiful storytellers. Here we are at 141 mini episodes and a few YouTube videos in as well. So this minisode isn't just about me and my journey, it's about every child who learned silence before safety. As you're listening to this and as this minisode wraps up, I invite you to contemplate on what makes you feel safe and seen in your life. Did you feel safe expressing yourself as a child, or did you suppress your feelings as well? Reflect on these aspects with your own children too. I encourage you to visit the show notes and the description box below for a few journaling prompts that you can complete yourself and also with the little ones in your life. Call it emotional safety check-ins, if you will. But for now, I invite you to take a moment of mindfulness with me, and let's tune into our bodies. And we do so by tuning in to our breath. Closing down the eyes if it's safe to do so, deeply inhaling through the nose, exhaling completely, letting the day go, letting the moments go, letting the breath slow. Notice what has arisen within you throughout this segment, whether it be a thought, emotions, reflections. Acknowledge them in this moment here. Express gratitude for all that has arisen, and gently let it go. Let the thoughts return to ether. For in this moment of silence, in this moment of contemplation, we remember that we are whole. All of us is welcome here. All of our emotions and experiences are valid. and we embrace life as our greatest teacher. Our paths are unique. Our experiences are different. Yet there is love within each of our hearts for each other and for ourselves, rippling out to the world. I encourage you to carry this feeling of love forward in your life throughout the next few hours, days, weeks, and months, and return back to your breath if ever you should forget. Taking another deep breath here, returning to the present moment, and slowly beginning to open the eyes, looking off to the distance before returning your gaze back to the camera. Thank you for choosing to tune in with me today and to receive this message. I'd love to know in the comments what your experience was like as a child, or if you felt safe to express yourself then and now. Let's talk about it. And let's leave a lasting impact for the next generation of mindful leaders as well. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you and namaste. Okay, how do I start my video again? Okay, this is me. Oh, I need to get my book in this hand and then another one in this hand